The big move was brand multiple. That said, we made brand multiple 12 months ago. And the point I'm making is all of our new business in the past 3 months has come from brand multiple work. Am I saying at that point that none of our traditional agency services have attracted new business? Well, we're putting all of our efforts into that basket. But I would probably say that had we not had that, from experience, I think the climate would have been pretty barren by way of new business. So, in looking back and thinking a move we made 12 months ago is now bearing fruit, I guess our instinct as a board now is to simply say, great, let's do more of that, let's reinvent further. And I think the move that everybody is beginning to get wind of, the primary reason we're arguably sat here today, is the move which will see us remove from this agency and its operating structure the titles of account executive and account manager. So, first of all, with regards to that, I think we need to go back to a board meeting that was held here 2 months ago. And we were reading the drum and we were reading other titles and we were getting blitzed by these seemingly now new breed of daily emails that I read the headline of and bin without kind of opening the file. And everybody was talking about the climate, about the credit crunch and about things related to that, but what people were saying was nothing more than, and the favourite phrase was evolve or die. So what we had here is the trade, the professionals, all beating a very loud drum in the direction of evolve or die, and our board meeting started with, well, do we or don't we believe that? And that was a 5-minute discussion. Whilst we had not directly suffered, we would say, from anything adverse from the credit crunch, we did see a couple of projects cleaned out because they were downwind of construction. Didn't take it personally, as we tend to do if a client fails, because the problem was simply too big for all of us. That they had their order books stripped. So these businesses were clean. So yes, it touched us. Fortunately, financially, it didn't particularly harm us. But what it did say to us is, one, we're vulnerable. If potentially still a bit lucky, we're vulnerable. But across the client base, we really saw a definite split. People who were absolutely envisaging and could articulate why the credit crunch would affect them. And then there was the other half. I'm going to split this into 3, not 2. There was the middle third who were talking themselves up into, let's just be cautious. Well, that means they're going to do all the same stuff as the first set in terms of actions, which might mean stop spending or lower back investment in whatever form. And then there was the third set that I still have to report are largely unaffected and just move forward. And certainly last week in Yorkshire, I'm not sure if it made the regions for us, it was a propaganda TV frenzy. We've got Seabrook, we've got Greggs, we've got Car People, 3 primary clients of ours, all reporting, in the case of Seabrook, best trading in 60 odd years. Greggs, well, everybody saw Greggs, absolutely wonderful, and hats off to them. And Car People showing growth in a marketplace that's incredibly, that's gone backwards this year. So again, absolutely fantastic for them. The truth for us is, once we'd accepted that we had to do something, and that people saying evolve or die were probably right, we then kind of got flippant, which is in our nature, and said, you know, everybody's enjoying saying what that we have to change. So far, no one's broken rank and done anything. And you know what? I think we've always felt an obligation here, probably because of our brand, to do stuff, to pioneer, to be different. And I don't think it's difference for difference sake. I think it's us marketing ourselves and doing what we ask a client to do. We tried to distill down a simple insight about what challenges we thought agencies would face in this climate. And what we came out with on one line was, clients need better strategic advice faster. And I suppose, you know, the view of saying there's never been a time when the agency and the client should be stood closer together, hand in hand, stronger, to deal with what's coming. Now, I think that a lot of agencies might have drawn that conclusion. I think many might be able to do something about it. We were very optimistic about being able to do something about it because of the board relationship that we have with our clients that might suggest we've kind of been able to do that for some time. But this, if anything, was a real acceleration of that, and saying we cannot diffuse the communication line between the account director and the client. We have to be faster, and also, I suppose, invariably, we have to come back and then look seriously at the way an account will communicate between the client and the agency, or rather senior people here. That brings us on to the account executive and the account management role. I've not been a fan for years, and I'll qualify that, and I'll qualify it quite brutally. Invariably, when an account executive aspires to be an account manager, and when an account manager aspires to be an account director, there is an inherent compulsion on that journey for those people to make a very enthusiastic attempt to offer some strategic counsel or some design critique, for example, into the process. And I guess whilst that's fine for the structural growth and sustainability of an agency, I think we have to be big enough to say that's an awful lot of pissing about on the client's money. Now, I'm not going to reflect where the agency's been, I'm not going to reflect where the industry has been. I think that this is about seismic change. I do not think the market that we're in will change. I do not think it will certainly return back to its trading standards or lack of standards in the past that's led the whole system down the toilet, so to speak. I think we'll see a return to great values. I think we'll see a return to good business. And our simple viewpoint on this one is that good business does not look like junior people trying to practice their art live on a client's budget. So we will remove the titles. And in the place of those titles, the working title at the moment that we're recruiting or reposting and scoping against is simply project manager. And the project manager, if one thinks about this, will sit to the side or to the back of the account director. And I think what we like about it is almost a return to the good old-fashioned apprenticeships, where you can learn your craft, but you do not, under any circumstances, learn that at the expense of a client. You watch your mentor, you watch the guy deal directly with the client, and in this case that's the account director. Now, our job is to make that exciting and to make it critical. So I think that we still have promotion there. I know that we still have promotion there. I think that we expect somewhat of an onslaught from the industry in terms of us stripping out these, let's face it, positions that probably went all the way back to when J. Walter Thompson did what they did with the newspaper in London many years ago. So we're expecting a bit of controversy, but so be it. Client-wise, what a fantastic message. We're coming back, there is no dilution, we're at your side. The change primarily, therefore, here is in the role of the AD. And we're talking about ADs who've been pretty well buffered sometimes between the client by their teams. We're talking about an AD rolling those sleeves up and getting right back to the coalface and working where it matters.